One of the most exciting things about the announcement of Pokémon Sun and Moon is the fact that there will be a whole bunch of brand new Pokémon to use on our journey. And what I'm most excited to see is a new starter Pokémon. In previous games, the trainer is given an option between Grass type, Fire type, and Water type starter Pokémon. So I thought it'd be a pretty cool idea to take a look at the top 5 possible starters for each of these types in Pokémon Sun and Moon. Since there's so much to talk about for each typing, I thought it'd be a smarter idea to split this into 3 separate videos. In this video, we'll be focusing on the top 5 possible water type starters for Pokémon Sun and Moon. All artwork I use in this video will be credited in the description below. Anyways, let's get into this. I think that a starter Pokémon based off of a shark would make a really great design. And this design I found of a water type starter Pokémon based off of a shark would be perfect. The first stage evolution is a relatively simple design of the hammerhead shark, which has a small chain coming off of one of its fins. The simple, sleek, and adorable design of this Pokémon would make for a really good starter Pokémon in Pokémon Sun and Moon. The artist also created this Pokémon's second stage and final evolution, which look amazing. This Pokémon turns from a cute little baby hammerhead shark into a badass hammerhead shark in its final evolution. I honestly have no complaints with anything about this evolutionary line at all. The final evolution has evolved into a fully grown hammerhead shark with what appears to be metallic fins and a chained tail. The design would be perfect for a final evolution of a shark starter Pokémon in Pokémon Sun and Moon. Stats wise, I could see this Pokémon having high speed stats as well as a high attack and special attack stat. And I could see this Pokémon being a water steel typing. The next starter design we're going to be taking a look at is this artwork I found of a starter Pokémon based off of an eel. I honestly never really thought that an eel would make for such a great starter design for a water type, but I honestly really do like this design. The first stage evolution is a relatively simple design of an eel. Yeah, I don't really know what else I could say to describe this thing. I mean, it also has a pointy head and stuff. But the artist also created this Pokemon's second stage and final evolution. The second stage evolution is okay, but I prefer to focus on this Pokemon's final evolution. This design is awesome, and it would make for a great final evolution for an eel starter, if one were to be in Pokemon Sun and Moon. I honestly love this evolution. The little eel we saw in the first stage evolution has turned into this. What I like most about this design is the metallic trident design on its head and the metallic tail. I think it adds a lot to the design. Stat-wise, I could see this Pokemon having high speed and special attack stats, and like the previous starter we looked at, it could be a water steel typing. The next starter design we're going to be taking a look at is based off of an animal that I really want to see as a Pokemon in Pokemon Sun and Moon, which is a platypus. Surprisingly, there wasn't a lot of fan-made designs for a platypus Pokemon that I could find, but the first stage evolution of this artwork I found is exactly what I envisioned a platypus starter Pokemon to be like. And I could definitely see something like this being in Pokemon Sun and Moon. The artist also created this Pokemon's second stage and final evolution. Honestly, I'm not really too keen on either of these, but it's pretty interesting to see the direction in which a platypus starter Pokemon could go. In its final evolution, this Pokemon pretty much has evolved into a platypus dinosaur hybrid, which is really interesting. But as I said before, this Pokemon is on the list primarily for its design in its first stage evolution. This Pokemon is a relatively simple design of a platypus, which really has a starter Pokemon vibe to it. Stats wise, I could see this Pokemon having rounded stats, maybe a higher attack and HP stat, and it would probably remain a pure water typing. The next starter Pokemon we're going to be taking a look at is this. This starter design is based off of a fish, which is something I could definitely see happening in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Honestly, I'm not too keen on the first stage evolution of this Pokemon, but something like this is still very likely to be in the new games. What I liked most about this Pokemon is not its second stage evolution, but its final evolution, which seems to be a dolphin. This design would be perfect for the final evolution of a dolphin starter Pokemon in Pokemon Sun and Moon. And honestly, I think a dolphin would be a really great choice for a water type starter Pokemon. Likewise with the platypus design I showed earlier, not many people had actually made art of a dolphin starter Pokemon, but this Pokemon's final evolution is perfect. Stat wise, this Pokemon would have high speed and special attack stats, and would probably remain a pure water type. The final starter Pokemon we're going to be looking at today is the water-type starter from a fan-made game called Pokemon Sage. This fan-made game is full of really awesome Pokemon designs that I could definitely see happening in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Turns out this starter Pokemon is based off an iguana. I don't know what it is about lizard Pokemon, but they always seem to make great designs. This Pokemon's second stage and final evolution also looks spectacular. This Pokemon evolves from a cute little lizard into an absolute monster, and I'd definitely choose this starter if it were in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Stat-wise, this thing would be a bulky physical attacker, so that means high HP, defense, and physical attack stats. It could remain a pure water type or also gain the fighting typing. So that's going to wrap up today's video, taking a look at the top 5 potential water starter Pokemon for Pokemon Sun and Moon. All of the artist's work who I used in this video will be fully credited in the description. I definitely recommend you go and check them out, because there are a lot of other really awesome fake Pokemon designs that they have made. And if you haven't checked out the top 5 potential fire and grass starters for Pokemon Sun and Moon, make sure to click the annotations currently on the screen. I'll see you guys later.